Okay, back to Torah Or, Parshas Noach. You're going to again learn this mime, even though we learned it already, but until you know it by heart, you can keep learning it. And even after you know it by heart, you can definitely keep learning it. The Rebbe Merash said you have to learn a mimer 400 times and then you begin to see the light. Okay, mimer, no. Okay, page 16 in Torah Or. The great waters cannot extinguish the love. When the hardest for the rivers were not flooded out, if a person will give all the treasures of his house of love, it's going to be made cheap for him. So he said, what is this pasuk of Mayim Rabim? The great waters, what are we talking about? He says, that refers to the flood waters of making a living, of worldly thoughts. In other words, these are flood waters that want to flood out Kedusha with the worries of Parnasa and worldly things. And the pasuk says, nevertheless, it cannot extinguish the love. What love are we talking about? The hidden love that every nefesh of a Jews have, beteva, by nature, from the nefesh olikis, that it constantly, by nature, is constantly going up. Like a fire, right? Like a flame that goes up by itself. So that love can never become extinguished. Okay, so to give a physical mashal for this, you can have a regular fire that water could extinguish. But then you can have another fire, the source of fire, in a flintstone, in a Torah Chalamish, that the rock, the stone could be in the water for 20, 30, 50, 100 years, and you take it out, you can still create fire. So he's saying, the open love of a Jew may be the waters, the flood waters of the world, the love, the ava, the aish, the fire of a Jew, the open one could be extinguished maybe. But the hidden love of a Jew, that can never be extinguished. He says, like it says, this is the fire that comes from above, which is the nefesh gashmi. Before the neshama comes into the physical body, meaning before the baby is born, it was enjoying the ray of the Shechina. And it's still united, the neshama l'mayla, before it comes into the restrictions and limitations of the body. So the neshama l'mayla is mamish one with Hashem. And therefore, because the neshama was one with Hashem up there, even when the neshama comes down, even even after the body comes on, the neshama comes down in the physical body. Lasik binyanim gashmi, to deal with worldly things, business or any other worldly thing, which are called mayim rabim. Im calls it, nevertheless, the neshama is still connected to the level up there. It cannot extinguish it. Because it's such a strong, powerful love. To become included up there. Not only that, he's going to explain, not only can it not become extinguished, by coming down into the physical world, it becomes even stronger than it was Lamaila. Not only you can't extinguish it, it becomes even stronger. Can reach a higher level, even greater than before it comes into the world, like I'll explain. Let's explain something, a fundamental thing. We're mentioning yesterday between Mincha Mayev that during the week there's 3 tefillas, because 3 levels of the neshama are revealed in the body. Shabbos Yom Tov is 4, Yom Kippur is 5. Now, you have to understand, you're talking about spiritual dimensions in a physical entity. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind. When you say the neshama is in the body versus the level of the neshama that's not in the body, you're not talking about the tables in the room, or you're talking about a spiritual entity, meaning how much of the neshama is felt in the body. Neshama is spiritual. It's not that, you put the neshama in the body, it gets bigger, you take the neshama out of the body, it gets smaller. I mean, it doesn't work like that. You're talking about a spiritual entity, spiritual dimensions, like when you say, Chassidus uses the expression, if somebody has a very deep head. Now, on a pit, you say it's a deep pit or a deep ocean. Okay? Over there it's measured by feet or miles or yards or whatever. When you say somebody has a deep head, it doesn't mean it's 10 feet deep. It's a similar expression, but it means completely something else. When you say somebody is generous, they have a big heart. God forbid you have a big heart, you can die. I mean, it doesn't mean a big heart, physically a big heart. It's an expression defining something. We're using a physical word big, but it doesn't mean big the way normally big means big. Or deep doesn't mean normally deep. When you say the neshama is in the body, again, it's a question of how much of the body feels that level of the neshama. So during the week, the body feels nefesh, ruach, neshama. That's the influence that the neshama has on the body. Therefore, the neshama is in the body. Now, the neshama is a spiritual entity. There's no in and out. It's not in and out burger, in and out neshama. In and out. It's not it. It's a different dimension. And Shabbos is only a day, so then a greater level of the neshama is in the body, meaning it's felt in the body. It affects the body. Now you can affect the body directly, you can affect the body indirectly. If it's in it, it affects it directly. If it's not in it, it affects the body but indirectly. So the Yechidah Shebenefesh affects a Jew, but it affects it superficially, not directly, indirectly. Like you say, a Jew has a munah, you have to do an aveda. If you have a munah, how do you do an aveda? So you don't say he doesn't believe in God. Of course he believes in God. But the amunah, like we learned in Atat Tetzaveh, is superficial, meaning it doesn't affect you directly that all your actions are affected by the amunah. It has a general, I believe in Hashem, but that doesn't mean it's going to affect me directly the way I behave. So the Rebbe is explaining there's a level of neshama that's still l'mayla. Doesn't mean up there 20 miles up. Gan Eden is not 100 miles up, and Gan Eden is not 6 feet under. There's a spiritual dimensions that we use the word up and down. Okay. Like we said many times, the Chassidus says at the beginning of Shesh Mitzvah Tefillah, that in order to understand anything of Chassidus, you have to use the expression tzrichim lahafshit hadvorim migashmiyusam. You have to be moving from the physicality of it. When you say big, it doesn't mean big. Like the room is big. It means big in a different definition. When you say neshama is in the body, out of the body, it doesn't mean in and out. It means how much the neshama directly affects the body. That means it's in there. If it's indirectly affecting the body, then it's superficial. It's makiv. If it affects it less, it's called makiv dimakiv. Like we learned a million times. You have food you digest internally. Food affects us directly. Clothing, you don't eat clothing. Clothing don't affect you directly as much as food does. Food gives us strength. Food, you don't eat, you don't have strength. You eat, you have strength. So food affects directly. Clothing affects you indirectly. It keeps you warm, whatever it is. But again, you don't digest it internally. It's encompassing you, it's surrounding you, but it has to fit you. One size doesn't fit all. And a house is called makiv dimakiv. A house, one size fits all. It still affects the person. But it affects it much less than clothing or food. What?
At the time of mitzvah, during the weekdays, so So
then the person connects to a higher level.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. It reaches even a higher level than the Ava Momaila. When you say the neshama before it comes into the body, okay, that means once a person is born, the neshama comes into the body. It doesn't get special delivery mail, comes in. It's spirit, again, spiritual terms, physical terms for spiritual dimensions. That's what we're talking about. Neshama comes into the body, it means it's affected by the body. We say the neshama is in Gan Eden. It's like it's not a big park up there, 100 miles up where the spaceships go, and over there they're sitting in.
But we have to imagine something.
I understand we have to imagine, but at the same time we have to imagine that's not what it means. Gan Eden is not some big party hall over there that a bunch of people are having a good time.
So what you're saying, everything is inside us.
Yeah.
When we say
No. Again, spiritually, if it affects us directly, it's
right.
inside of us.
So when you say my kefim is not my kefim, it's inside you.
But affecting you indirectly versus directly.
Versus that.
Yes.
You have to-